Alright, so I thought for the 800 subscriber special, I would take you guys back to 2001 to Operation Flashpoint Cold War Crisis. There's a game coming out called 83 that is similar to Operation Flashpoint Cold War Crisis. And, of course, ARMA Reforger is also similar to Operation Flashpoint Cold War Crisis, except that it doesn't have a single-player campaign, a single-player story, series of missions you can play through. So, I worked on a volunteer basis for Bohemia Interactive, trying to help improve the game. And because I served in the Army during the Cold War in the 80s during the Reagan buildup, I was able to, provide Bohemia Interactive some advice on authenticity for Operation Flashpoint Cold War Crisis. Here you see it's called ARMA Cold War Assault, and that's because Bohemia Interactive broke with Codemasters, the publishers of Operation Flashpoint Cold War Crisis, and Codemasters got to keep the name Operation Flashpoint. Originally, I think the game was called just Flashpoint, and they decided to slap the word Operation on the front. I believe that's the case, if my memory serves me correctly. Personally, I think the name Flashpoint would have been better, just like lots of really popular games have a two-syllable name, like Half-Life, for example. Of course, that's after the generation where they had one-syllable names like Doom and Quake. I also helped rewrite the dialogue in the first single-player demo, the first public single-player demo for Operation Flashpoint Cold War Crisis, and then I worked on another aspect to the game, which I'm not going to talk about here. So I wanted to show you guys the mission editor. Although this mission editor seems to be a light version of the mission editor. I remember it being a little bit more complex than this, and this one seems to be the one that is found in Operation Flashpoint Elite, which was on the classic black Xbox, the very first Xbox. And in my opinion, Operation Flashpoint Elite was one of the best titles in the ARMA franchise, because it was the first one to have mid-game joining or join in progress, because Operation Flashpoint Cold War Crisis, Red Hammer, and also Operation Flashpoint Resistance, their multiplayer games all had a lobby system. So you had to be in the lobby at the beginning of the game, and if you got disconnected from the game, you couldn't get back into the game until the server went back to the lobby. So you wound up with this situation where maybe a game starts out with 30 players, and because players had a tendency to lose connection to the game, you would gradually whittle down the numbers on the number of players in the game until the server decided to go back to the lobby, either by, I guess, aborting the game or resolving the game. Anyway, so this mission editor is the most simplistic version of the mission editor that I ever saw. However, it was powerful enough that on the classic black Xbox, we could do some pretty amazing things with it in creating our own scenarios. So this title, with this mission editor, Operation Flashpoint Elite, on the Xbox was a really replayable title. And I don't think that Microsoft liked that very much, because they, after the initial sale of a console, they want to sell games to make money. And if you're just constantly playing the same game all the time, that's not making Microsoft any money. So I don't think Microsoft liked replayable games. They were always trying to push the next best title. And it was during the year of play, after Operation Flashpoint Elite's release, that the Xbox 360 came out. So a lot of gamers just migrated to the 360 because they wanted all the bells and whistles. But you know, the difference between the Xbox 360 and the classic black Xbox is that the classic black Xbox, if yours worked, yours would keep working. You know, it wasn't something that would easily die. The Xbox 360, on the other hand, I owned 4 of them because they kept dying, and I was not a gamer that put them through heavy use. I would download an update to a game, and it would kill the console. I would get the red ring of death. And, you know, I had this guy, you know, argued with me up and down that the red ring of death was never software induced. But when your console's perfectly fine, and then you download a game update and it suddenly dies and gives you the red ring of death, yeah, I think that's software induced. So anyway, the 360, it was nice, but it wasn't very reliable. And anyway, I really enjoyed the experience of playing Operation Flashpoint Elite on the classic Xbox. I am recording, right? Yeah. So I want to show you the mission editor, and we're going to mess around a bit. So this is the desert isle. I think I can, yeah, do this. And this is just a bare island that we used to use for, you know, testing things out, testing out different units. Units was the name you gave to different manned vehicles or to soldiers. So, let's see. first, over here, I want to, let's see, what do I, well, I'll just call it combat. Combat. And then, we'll set this to June, or even July 10th, that's fine, if I can. The thing is, the mouse sensitivity is a little crazy, but at least it's working now. I was having trouble getting this to work. However, I haven't gone into the game environment yet, so maybe the problem that I was having before will surface there. I hope not. So I'm going to set the time to about midnight, and I want although the weather is pretty awesome, I don't want any weather. I want visibility to be good. Resistance, I don't think I'm going to be placing any resistance units, so I'll just set it to nobody because it doesn't really matter. Okay, so we've set the time and the month and day, and the reason that's important is because it affects the star chart. You've got a real star chart up on the skybox, if you want to call it that. I think it's more like a dome, and so let's see, group. So yeah, we'll put west up there, and then they can be facing that way initially and then turn around. So put an M1 Abrams platoon. No player was selected, and that's fine. I mean, I'll be observing from like over here somewhere, so unit, and I'll just be this little guy. Civilian, man, player, and then I can start in this direction. So that's me, and the circle is an oval because actually there's two ovals there in different directions. That's kind of weird. Anyway, because of the aspect ratio, these squares look like squares though, so it's kind of strange that the circle is an oval. So let's see, then I'll put this guy, take the leader of the M1 Abrams tank platoon, and then I'll give him a waypoint. And let's see, he's up there. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm counting the number of grids. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he'll go about here, and then seek and destroy. Combat mode, open fire, engage at will, behavior, combat, or just aware, because they can always switch to combat when they see the bad guys. And formation, I'll make it a wedge. And okay, alright, so then right about here, another group, and this will be east, and I want them to point away from initial contact, and then I'll give them T-80 tanks, because that was, because it was set in the 80s, that was the best tank that was available for the Russian side. A lot of these tanks, like the T-72 and the, I'm not sure how many T-80s were in the war with Ukraine, but I don't think you hear about many T-80s still available on the Russian side. I think even T-90s have become scarce. So, waypoints. Unless the Russians have some secret stockpile that they're withholding, they've really kind of screwed themselves, because they have depleted, the reports are they have depleted their tank inventory. So I'll just put a waypoint here, seek and destroy, combat mode, open fire, engage at will, behavior, aware, formation. I'm going to make the formation a column, because the Soviet doctrine was to kind of pour everything you have through a single point in the enemy's front line, and then once you get through, to branch out in different directions and just tear up the rear area. So I'm going to do that. And the result should be interesting. Okay, so now groups. West. Oh, they don't have air assets like that. Okay, so I have to start this one here. West, armored. That's an M60. Try infantry squad, mechanized infantry squad. So they've just got one armored personnel carrier. And I've got to find the commander. I think this is him here. And then give him a waypoint. And I'll just put it here. And seek and destroy. If I can get this to go. It's so sensitive. There. Open fire, engage at will, behavior, aware, and formation. I'm going to make that a line formation, so that if they have any AT rockets on them, they can bring those to bear on the enemy armor. So that is right. Now we got another one here. This will be east. East. Infantry. Mechanized infantry. And place it, and then I've got to find the officer and give him a waypoint. So I just got to highlight him, and then, because see, when he has orders to go to a waypoint, then he gives orders to all of his subordinates to move to that waypoint. and then I'll just put it here and make this seek and destroy, open fire, engage at will, engage at will, aware, and I'll make that a column again, maybe a staggered column. Okay. Now I do want some air assets in here, and but I'm not sure that you can spawn them with someone in them or in the air. Let's see, AH-64, and then okay, I don't know if that's empty or not. Might be empty. Let me see, if I can't give it a waypoint, that probably means it is empty. Okay, maybe it's piloted. Let's see, seek and destroy, open fire, engage at will, behavior, aware, and then formation. Doesn't really matter. And units. And then east. I'm not sure if the east has a good, yeah it does. The V-80, is that the attack helicopter? Anyway, I'll just give them a hind, just for fun. And then waypoints. Make sure this is highlighted. And then here, and seek and destroy, open fire, engage at will, aware, whatever column. Okay, then I'm going to save it. Mission name, combat, and save as user mission, export to single missions. I don't really want to do that yet, so okay, and then preview. There's the moon, and there are moon phases in this. Missing the action. The civilians move really slowly. It's kind of a pain in the neck. There's one of the helicopters there. two helicopters are fighting each other. Oh, looks like the Apache's getting tagged. Some enemy. Alright, so I'm gonna stop. Abort. Continue. And I'm gonna move my guy up here so I can get a better look right off the bat. Don't want to miss any of the action. I'll save it again. And then let's see if I can change the time so that there's at least a little light. Will 4:30 do it? Save. Okay. And preview. Yeah, there we go. There's one of the helicopters. Just fired a rocket. Fired another one. That's the Apache helicopter. Oh, was that the Hind? Apache's getting some height. Oh, that's an M113. There's the Hind over there, just fired a rocket. Took out one of the Abrams. Now the Apache and the Hind are duking it out. Oh, the Hind got taken out. The two pilots are parachuting out. Now, that may not be possible in real life, but but that was something that was possible in the game, despite that. So those will be actual infantry or, you know, soldier military characters that will be able to then go about their lives once they reach the ground. So here's the M113, it's still alive. Oh, that tank's still alive too. So here's a Russian, I think, running. What's he planning to do? Or is that a friendly? Because they're not shooting at him at all. There's the Apache. Yeah, they're letting that guy live, so he must be friendly somehow. I think that's an M113 over there, so maybe that's where he came from. Alright, so let's retry it. So this will play out differently every time. Because it's not scripted at all. This is all dynamic artificial intelligence. And back in 2001. So when developers say, oh, AI is too hard, they were doing it back in 2001, dude. And in 2000, I think, 2000 or 2001, Rogue Spear came out, and Rogue Spear had great terrorist AI and team counter-terrorist AI. I mean, it was simple in comparison to the SWAT games, but it was still solid. So let's... You know what? I think I might have... I think I may have put another M113 there instead of a BMP. Let me check that. Abort. Continue. So... that looks like a... No, it's an M113. Can I change that? So that means all these guys are... Yeah, that's the problem there. All these guys should be east. How did I mess that up? Let's see. Delete. 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 Okay, so group should be east, armored, no, infantry, mechanized infantry, and okay, and then waypoint, and that's the nice thing about this mission editor. If you make a mistake, you just go in, edit it, and you're done. And seek and destroy, open fire, behavior, aware, formation, staggered column, okay. Let me save it. And preview. Yeah, that's a BMP now. Apache just took out another one. I think that was the Hind. It's either the Hind or the BMP. I think that was the Hind. Another one got destroyed. Hind just fired another one. There's the BMP. These two are going at it now. The Hind's taking hits. Yeah. The Hind can take a lot of damage in this game. Oh, yeah, the pilot's bailed out again. So I think that's... Oh. Yeah, the Hind just exploded. There's the M113. So, you know, the M1 has superior armor. Oh, wait. Now these guys... These are Russians. There should be. So... The, they should start cutting them down. Yeah, see? So you're using their machine guns on the enemy infantry. They tried to fire an HE round at them, but it missed. Oh, they just cut one of them down. And I imagine the one behind the BMP wreck is dead too. Oh, there's another guy up there. Oh no, that's the tail of the Apache. I thought it was a guy running. Let's see if he comes over here. No. So, anyway, so that's a little special, I guess, reward for helping me reach the 800 subscriber milestone. And I'll try to show, now I got this game working, I'll try to show you more of it later, because Battlefield 1942, the very first Battlefield, came out I think shortly after Operation Flashpoint Cold War Crisis. But what Battlefield 1942 had, that Operation Flashpoint Cold War Crisis didn't have, was mid-game joining, or join in progress, and the ability to kind of like stand on vehicles or stand within vehicles and move around. So that helped to make for more fun videos, you know. People could do more stunts in Battlefield 1942, and the Desert Combat mod for Battlefield 1942. And but what Operation Flashpoint had was more realism, and it had 12 kilometer by 12 kilometer unique islands where the entire island was modeled with unique towns and roads and forests and everything, whereas Battlefield 1942 had pretty small maps in comparison to Operation Flashpoint Cold War Crisis. But it wouldn't be until, I think, Armed Assault, which became ARMA 1, that the ARMA franchise would have mid-game joining on the PC. So that kind of hurt them initially. But one thing that the ARMA franchise did have going for it was a very very lively, I guess you could say, modding community. There were tons of mods for Operation Flashpoint Cold War Crisis and Resistance, and that, I think, really helped the franchise to have staying power. And that's why today ARMA 3 and ARMA Reforger are some of the best known full spectrum warfare combat simulations on the market. So anyway, so I'll end this here. And so I'll just say thanks, guys, for 800 subscribers. As you can see, I've got about 1,500, I think, videos. So, you know, it's been a long time. It's taken a long time to get to 800. And, I mean, there's a reason for that. That's because I don't put as much effort into my videos. But YouTube is strange, because you can put zero effort into a video and get thousands of views, and then another video, like some of the Stalker musicals I've made recently, where I put a lot of effort into those, and I don't think I even have over 200 views on those videos. So I just stopped trying, man. It wasn't worth my time or my effort. So instead, I just kind of use YouTube as like an archive of gameplay so that people can see like a time capsule of different games, and they can revisit this game footage, years down the road to see what any given game looked like way back when. So this is what Operation Flashpoint Cold War Crisis looked like on a really good system back in the day, because I don't think I could play at this resolution on the systems that I had back then, or at this frame rate, I might add. So, anyway, again, thank you. 800 subscribers. Whoever you were that broke the ceiling, I appreciate it. And also to all the others who watch my videos despite everything, despite me, and despite the things that are lacking in my videos. It's okay. I know, I'm not top tier quality, and it's okay.